For both of you, have Beth and Beulah met their match in each other, do you think? I wonder if the loss of the cattle will force them, Beth and Rip, to make an ally out of Beulah after episode 4.
Yeah, I think that as Beth and Rip come to Texas and discover us all there, doing what we're doing for Beulah, things really at the very beginning are already just falling apart, really, for her. And that's why the writing is good and it's fun to play. But she's still fighting, she's still fighting for it. She's fighting for love, wants a relationship, wants intimacy from a man who's always sort of been out of her grasp. And maybe there are a few women out there who can relate to that, as well as trying to, protect the legacy of her ranch, please her father, who's literally dead, but she's still trying to please him, to make that happen, and afraid of what's going to happen if she fails. I think that's very deep in her, and wants her children to be well and successful, and there are problems there. Wanting to protect her granddaughter from the trauma that she's been through, because Beulah has her own trauma. So all of those stakes can be really potentially juicy, story material for us to play, and that's what we tried to do.
And that sounds a lot like Beth.
Doesn't it?
Everything.
They see a lot of each other. They admire and are competitive and are jealous and are, in some ways become co-conspirators as the show goes on. I think that Beulah, when she sees this woman walk in, she's just completely knocked out. That for me was not hard to play, because I'm kind of knocked out by Kelly. When I watched the show Yellowstone, I got into it like so many people did because of the stakes that all the actors were playing at. The writing was so strong, but it takes those kinds of actors like Wes Bentley, who I got to do a film with many years ago, and watching him.
He's amazing.
And watching him and Kevin Costner and all of them. So that's a great inspiration to come into this show with, really wanting to give people that experience. And I love watching shows, right? Like, I'm a big audience consumer of like theater, film, TV. I know what it feels like to get sucked in, and that narrative, how strong the narrative can be is really what I was, tried to do my part to make it as strong as I could.
It's such a great, wonderful idea. I always felt like there needed to be, in our universe, it was very male oriented, and Beth was the only like real powerhouse of a woman. Obviously there was other really beautiful drawn characters, but to actually have Beth meet another woman that could be a potential sort of equal with, mentally, emotionally, just all those layers that Annette just described to Beulah. I feel the same way about Beth. It's this unapologetic audacity and in touch with her own violence and fierceness underneath this absolute utter heartbreak of pain and betrayal and sadness. And to sort of see which one is leading at which point in her day or the story. And so the fact that I get to have Beth meet another woman that she can relate to and see herself in and almost have a bit of a crush on, like I do Annette, like it's like I did get to meet somebody that it was like going up a gear, and I felt like I was able to bring even more of Beth that I didn't know about out with Beulah, because I'd never seen Beth with another woman before.
Yeah, it's very much game recognizes game with these two.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's what I was trying to say.
The end of episode 4 is one of the first times we see Rip get close to crying, but he won't let Beth see that side of him. Why not?
Well, he did actually, and I think it was year 4, when John Dutton gives Beth the letter about his home, the cabin that he gives Rip, which I thought was just an amazing, gift. You see him kind of get emotional there, but I don't think it's, look, when it comes to animals and it comes to, cowboying, and he's obviously a very hard guy, but the thing is that he loves animals more than he does people. And I think it's not only the animals, but it's their future. I mean, he's literally shooting his future, and he knows it. And I think that's a tough place to be for anybody. The emotion in that scene runs very deep for him. So I don't think he's trying to hide it, though, from her. More, I think he's just trying to keep it together.
We don't see her much with her dad in the first 4 episodes, but what is her relationship with him like?
It's messy. It's real messy. I mean, if you meet Rob Will in the first couple episodes, he's not the perfect model of a dad. But I think that you can see, I think it was really important for Jai and I to develop our characters separately because we're not in the first couple episodes together. You can see that fiery passion that comes within both of them, that once you see them on camera together, you're like, oh, that makes sense. That's an apple from that tree, that's for sure.
Carter pushes back on Beth a little bit, kind of is like, you're not fully my parents. Like, you don't, like, I don't have to listen to you. Does he really see Beth and Rip as his mom and dad? What's the tension there?
Yeah, I think he does see Beth and Rip as his mom and dad. At least he wants to. There's always going to be a little bit of tension, and there's always going to be that.
Is Oriana's resentment of Beulah kind of like youthful rebelliousness, or is there more to be revealed between them, do you think?
I think there's definitely a lot to be revealed. I actually think it's the opposite of rebellion. I think it's a cry for help in a way of wanting to feel loved. So I don't think it's her just like being a normal 24-year-old. I mean, she's also, she has the influence of her father and her uncle, and they still live underneath her, and they're developing this legacy. And I think that she's trying to break this pattern of generational trauma and do something different than what's been done, and try to break away from the life that's already been given to her. So I think that there's a lot of elements to it that are a lot more immense than just she's throwing a tantrum.
Mark, Zachariah's past comes back to haunt him a bit briefly in episode 3 after when that woman comes to the ranch and threatens to kill him. So will we learn more about what that backstory with Teresa?
Yes, you will learn more about Teresa. And I don't know what episode that comes in, but it's kind of the that has made Zach who he is today.
Zachariah sings The Streets of Laredo, which is like the Cowboys' lament song. Could you talk about the choice behind singing that for the animals in that moment?
The choice was made without me. I can tell you that much. I mean, I could go into how that came about, but that's pretty boring. It was a conversation. It ended up being a conversation between the showrunner and I about singing that song, and I kind of just defaulted to if let's try it, and if it works, if you guys like it, then let's do it. I mean, I love that song just from, it was a song that I heard all growing up, and yeah, so I don't know how the decision came to be. I don't know if, I'm sure it had to do with money.
Sure. Well, the emotional intent behind it, what does it say about Zachariah that he sings it for them in that moment?
I think it says just about Zach. I think it says that he is he's got a heart for life in general. Probably spawning from what happened with Teresa.
In episode 4, that sequence where they have to kill all the cattle, it's really tragic and horrific the way that it's filmed in a complimentary way. It's very evocative. You jump cut between Beth and Rip when he takes each shot, which I found was really interesting. Can you talk about the emotional significance of those quick cuts between the close-ups?
Well, I was not a director on episode 4. That was Greg Yatanis. I think he did a beautiful job in telling the heartbreaking story of what that kind of devastating loss is. And for those people who were on set, it was difficult to film, and it is difficult for an audience to watch. I think that it was such a successfully harrowing sequence, and they did a lot of, our animal team did incredible work working with the cattle to be able to make it all feel very realistic. It was our production design team had to dig a giant hole, and all hands on deck to make that sequence as powerful as it is.